Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to That's Football. It is Real Madrid's trip to the Etihad, Manchester City, second leg. Who is going to win this Champions League decider for a place in the final against Inter Milan? We're sponsored by Boohoo Man. I'll tell you all about that in a minute. We've got a little bit of a quiz going for you as well. But what a game. I don't know why I'm clapping like that. What a game. What a game. I've played the game. No, what a game it's going to be. I think, look, I'm not going to be illogical here. I do think that Manchester City probably are the favourites because they're playing fantastically well at the moment, and they're at home, and their record at home is fantastic, as we know. But on the other hand, Real Madrid, you write off at your peril. They are incredible in Europe. I think it's so important that you don't just sit there and go, I think this is going to happen. I think that's going to happen. I think it's actually quite not straightforward, but logical to look at the strengths and weaknesses and go, this is how I think it will play. I know Pep Guardiola said he might use a different type of plan to win this game. I don't think he will. I think he'll go with the way that's been working. I think so much depends on whether Rudiger and Alaba can keep Erling Haaland quiet. I think if you keep Erling Haaland quiet, you tend to have a better chance of getting a result against Man City. And I know that's very logical, but I always go back to two games in January where Manchester United and Spurs, who, look, I like Man United, they're my team. Spurs haven't had a good season. Man United have had a few bad results. But if Spurs and Man United can keep Haaland quiet, we got good results. So that's just logical. Rudiger's not even starting. Okay. Well, it helps if I go through the team news, doesn't it? I haven't even looked at the team news because I've just been doing the United stand. So let's get that team news up on the screen for you. We will come back to the Boohoo Man thing in a moment. But let me just get this team news running for you. So as you can see, Manchester City are lining up like this. There you go. That's the Manchester City side. I'll read it out to you as well. So Man City lining up with Ederson, Walker, Diaz, Akanji, Stones, Rodri, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Grealish and Haaland. That's their best 11. I don't think anybody expected anything different. But Real Madrid are lining up with Courtois, Carvajal, Militao, Alaba, Camavinga, Valverde, Cruz, Modric, Rodrigo, Benzema, Vinicius Jr. I'm got to say I am concerned and surprised that he has not played Rudiger and has gone with Militao. I don't know what your thoughts are there. I don't know whether there's an injury. I don't know what the reasoning is. But Rudiger, with Premier League experience and a brilliant game last week against Haaland, I don't get that. Mark would love it if the Berties get beat tonight, says Warrior. And hi Mark, going to the Man United Madrid game in Euston in July, you reckon we get new players by then and you think starters will play? Got no idea, Foxy. Don't even know who will own us by then. Rudiger dropped is staggering. They may as well have just handed Haaland a hat-trick on the plate. I don't know. Militao is better with the ball and he's the regular. Well, look, I think it's worthy of a tweet. Rudiger being dropped is a massive risk. I really do worry about that one. He did a great job last week. Did a great job on Haaland last week. Wow. That has surprised me. Look, maybe he's carrying a bit of an injury. I don't know. Militao, to me, always looks like he's got a mistake in him. Thanks for the super chats that are coming in. I think the Glazers want the full sale, but they don't want to sell to Qatar because they know they're going to do way better than them, says Mario. Thank you very much. And Nick P says, Rubic. We've done that for him. We've done that from Nick P. Thank you very much there. So what are your thoughts? Simon Jordan said, the Glazers will take as long as they want re the sale of Manchester United. It's a multi-billion sale and is not simple, says Mark. Yeah, well, I don't really care. It's been going on for 6 months. You know what my answer to that is? If it's going to take months to sell the club, when you announce it in November, say it's going to take maybe a year to do it. Don't say we expect it to be done by the end of March. That's why people have got a right to be moaning. No fireworks tonight. They can't hide the crowd tonight, and they don't need to. It's absolutely packed at the Etihad. In fact, I'm indifferent to that. I nearly said it looks quite good, but it's a packed out game, of course. It's Real Madrid against Man City. And I think Man City have to be the favourites in this game. In fact, let's do a bit of a poll. Let's do a bit of a poll here. Who will win? And remember, we don't go with a draw here, because somebody tonight wins and takes their place in the final with Inter Milan. So who is going to do it? Man City or Real Madrid? Logically, I just think Man City are just too good. But then, as I said, Real Madrid, you can't write them off. You can't write them off, but they've got to defend well. They have to defend well. They have to... I mean, look, the first 20 minutes in the Bernabeu, they couldn't get a touch on the ball. So they've got to defend well here. They've got to counter well as well. They can't leave themselves open at the back. They can't concede early. I'm saying there's a lot of things they can't do, but there's a lot of things Man City can do. Mark, before kickoff, thoughts on Toney? Is the ban too harsh or not harsh enough, says Shawnee. And also, coming from United stand, but won't the percentage the Glazers don't own be sold at the current stock price as its shareholder from the New York Stock Exchange? I don't know how it works hard, but as I said, people are overvaluing that 31% on the stock exchange and equally valuing it with the 69% of the Glazers, which is a nonsense when the 69% shares are worth more in voting rights. Justin says an 8-month ban for Ivan Toney is ridiculous and too harsh. I would like to comment on the detail of the. I'd like to comment on the detail, to be honest. I'd like to know what happened and how many times it happened. Otherwise, I'm blind to what I'm saying, really. I don't want to be that. I think if you're a Premier League footballer and you've been found out for cheating on gambling, and I don't know what the detail of these charges are. Was it like there'll be a yellow card here? Was he telling players? I don't know what went on. But ultimately, 8 months might not be long enough. If what was going on was really bad, it might be too harsh if it was minor. I don't know what he is accused of doing, so it's very difficult for me to say. Hi Mark, I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but do you think it's coincidental Toney gets suspended just before he's about to play Spurs, whose European hopes are on a knife edge? Hands them an advantage, says Robbo. Yeah, I think if I was Aston Villa, Brighton, I'd be bloody fuming with that ban being handed out then. Absolutely fuming. Why not wait until the end of the season? Hi Mark, is your sponsor Boohoo Man a reference to you after the 7-0 incident, says Ed? Well, thank you very much for reminding me of that, because we are sponsored by Boohoo Man, and I will tell you now, just before the game kicks off, what the details are. You can get 40% off with the code I'm about to put on the screen for you, Goldbridge. Boohoo Man, I'm wearing my hoodie tonight. The game is about to start, but let's talk about this. They're providing the That's Football community with a massive 40% off when you use the code Goldbridge. They've got activewear, hoodies, gym wear, five-a-side wear, relaxing wear. Check it out on the website, links in the description, and use the code Goldbridge to get 40% off. But if you don't know what Boohoo Man's all about really when they do a promo for us, it is the 40% off, which is fantastic, and you can pick up loads of great stuff. But also they like to do a little bit of a trivia for you. So you've got to guess the player off these clues. I was born on the 28th of May, 1990 in Sheffield, England. I started my professional career at Sheffield United in 2008, but I played just 2 games for the club before moving to Tottenham Hotspur. After joining Spurs, I had 3 loan spells, including 1 back at Sheffield United. I then went on to be recognised as one of the most promising right-backs in the game. That's a bit far. In 2017, I moved to Manchester City for 50 million. Since joining City, I've won 4 Premier Leagues, 4 League Cups and 1 FA Cup. And I'm going to hand in an extra clue. If I wasn't fast, I'd be playing for Leyton Orient. Of course, you've got it. Some people have got it in the chat. It's Carl Walker. Congratulations to everyone who guessed correctly. Big thank you to Boohoo Man. They do this on the United Stand all the time, but this is That's Football Boohoo Man. 40% off with the code Goldbridge. Use that on checkout. What you're waiting for, get over onto that website now or a little bit later on or whenever. Just make sure you can get 40% off and get some lovely stuff like this or gym wear, whatever you're doing. Very reasonably priced stuff anyway, but 40% off with the code Goldbridge. Check it out. The game is about to start. Thank you very much to Boohoo Man. How are we doing, everybody? How are we doing? I just hope this is not a game I have to turn off. Gundogan has started the game. I'll get the timer ready for you. It's back with Edison. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Lovely stuff. Let's get ready to rumble. Oh, I feel quite nervous about this, and yet I think I feel quite nervous about this because they're going to win the final. Whoever wins this is massive favourites for the final. Whether we like it or not, they are. Hi, Mark. Thank you very much for that from Ed Lancaster, by the way. We've also had a super chat from Dane Grayson who says, utter hypocrisy, done for betting, but it's okay to promote betting companies on the shirts every day. Brentford shirt sponsor is Hollywood Bets, says Dane Grayson. I don't know. I don't know about the hypocrisy because it's not... I don't know. Because ultimately... it's manipulation of betting, isn't it? I don't know. If City win the treble, do you think that will be talked about more than 99? It's already happening with the 3 Premier League titles in a row. Nobody mentions us, says Jack. It's called recency bias, Jack. That's what it's called. Recency bias. Interestingly, this is Man City's biggest problem because in the poll, who's going to go through? 57% have gone with Madrid. 43% have gone with City. That's partly because City don't have enough fans to win a poll, and partly because people want Madrid to win. Logically, I would say that Man City's chances of winning are not 43%. I'd put them up around 70%. Mark says, Simon Jordan went on to say, as Manchester United is a going concern, it's preposterous that there won't be funds to spend on transfers as it's an investment. Well, I would say to Simon, why didn't we do it in January when Eric Ten Hag wanted João Felix and Gakpo then? If we were going in concern and it's preposterous, why didn't we spend money in January? Mic drop. It's not a United fan channel, the Four-Eyed Owl. It is That's Football, and we are watching Manchester City against Real Madrid, but we will answer questions that people put in. If you want to talk about your club, maybe it's Sheffield Wednesday. Do it. I can't believe Militao's playing over Rudiger. He's got to have a massive game tonight. Got to have a massive game. Let's get the stats carousel running around. Remember, that is sponsored by OneFootball. All your stats, all your latest football news. Download it for free. OneFootball. You can scan the QR code in the top right-hand corner or go through the link in the description. It's free on Apple and Android. The thing I like about the stats on OneFootball is that we get the stats for the team scenario, like the possession and everything like that. But they give it on the individual. In fact, I think we've got a problem with our stats carousel. I've got a funny feeling it's not working because that is not right. It should not be 0. Let me sort this out. Because that makes me worry that the score might be the same. We'll see. We'll try and sort it out. Let me get that started anyway. Well, the team's coming through, so I don't know why the stats aren't coming through. It's a funny old one. I've got somebody on the case. Well, it's been a more steady start from Manchester City. The Real Madrid have got them more in their own half here than they were in the Bernabeu. So it feels like a more expansive Real Madrid start to the game than it was in the Bernabeu. Don't know what your thoughts are. Hi Mark, is it just me that feels the Trent and Reece James debate is really forced? Trent's defence is overhated and he is levels above most creatively, says Jay. Why are City just unbearably boring, says Treble Champ. Look, I think Reece James has fell off a little bit because he's been injured a lot this season. Trent hasn't been injured a lot. He's had a terrible season defensively, but he's finished the season remarkably well on the offense. I think he's a fantastic player going forward, unbelievable player going forward. But I think defensively, not, he's a bit suspect. Here's De Bruyne. Lovely play by De Bruyne, well up by Militao, and Courtois is there to catch it. I don't like players who chew gum. Surely that's a lack of concentration. Yeah, I don't think you can have the Trent versus Reece James debate because Reece James hasn't played enough football this season. I like Reece James. I think he's the complete right back, but he's not fit enough, is he? That's the problem with Reece James. Fred chews gum. Exactly, Ray. Surely that's a foul on Toney Kroos. Just shoved him into the bloody... the Wealdstone Ranger has more fans than Man City, says Jack. Thank you very much, Jack. Well, this is going to be an intriguing game. It's not been a terrible start by Man City. Camavinga getting a bit rough with Bernardo Silva there. Apparently the stats carousel is working now. Let me have a look. Maybe I just read it wrong. Oh yeah, it is working now. 89% possession for Manchester City early on here. Wan-Bissaka is the best right back for me, says Escaban. Haaland's in. Cut back. Bloody hell. That was squeaky. That was a concern. And that's what Haaland can do, but didn't do at the Bernabeu. Madrid's defence are playing so narrow, playing into City's hands, says Joshua Bowater. Rodri, what are they doing? My God, Madrid need to be careful here. Our performance against Inter in both of the ties was embarrassing, says Ronan, who's an AC Milan fan. Well, I don't want to see the Rodri chance. I've just seen it. I want to see the Haaland chance. Rodri probably should have done a bit better. He's in a very good position. Just shoots wide. Shows the Haaland chance. Pep's trying to get the crowd up. They're not going to show us the Haaland chance again. Bloody useless camera guy, producer. Sack him. Who do I want to win? 100% Real Madrid. Who do I think's going to win? Well, I think Man City are the favourites. I can't believe we haven't seen the replay of the Haaland chance because this is my concern. I think if Haaland is getting the upper hand on Militao in the first 8 minutes, I don't understand why he's not picked Rudiger. I'm going to stop moaning about it. I'm going to stop moaning about it. Hi Mark, what team would you like promoted from the Championship playoffs? It's quite an interesting proposition seeing Coventry or Luton in the Prem. Well, they're not. Liam, Middlesbrough are in that. You know, who are Middlesbrough in this race? They're in this race. Mark, you look nervous. Well, Man City are going to win the league. If they win this tonight, they're going to win the Champions League, which means it all comes down to Manchester United in the FA Cup to stop a treble. So, of course, I would love Real Madrid to win tonight. Somebody said they thought that Rudiger was injured. I'll tell you what, I saw a bet I heard a bet today when I was driving home on the radio, and they said Bernardo Silva to commit 2 fouls or more. But he's already done 1 in the first 10 minutes. So, you know, whoever researched that, be interesting if that happens. Quite a subdued start here from Real Madrid, but it was much the same in Italy. Here is Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. Nice little ball into Rodri. You don't want to leave it there. We know he can shoot. Goes wide to Grealish. What a season Grealish has had this season. Up against Carvajal. They had a bit of a battle in Spain. Nice ball to Rodri again. They know he can shoot. They've got to close him down quickly. Bruyne's cross is good, but to be fair, Militao, he's been equal to it in the air so far. Oh, Bernardo Silva's done 2 fouls already, apparently. So there we go. It was very good insight. Paul says, why are you so obsessed with City? It's embarrassing. It's called rivalry, mate. Try and get a life as well while you're doing that. I think Madrid should counter-attack with Vinny's pace. Walker is fast, but he couldn't defend against Fleas, let alone a world-class winger, says Jack. Well, I think Jack, they're definitely set up for that tonight. What's going on with this tonight? Where's that? Why has that disappeared? Bloody hell. Slow. No team has won the Champions League and not title. It's very worrying, says Para. Is that true? Every Champions League winner has won the title. That's not true. John Stones with a shot there. That can't be true. I'm sure Chelsea won the title in 2012 and they didn't win the league. And they didn't win it when they won it last time either. That's a load of bollocks. Liverpool didn't win the league in 2005. Absolute nonsense. Stats. Call it out. I think Ancelotti thought he would do something left field and drop Rudiger to get a one-up on Pep, who usually does the selection mind games. Bad move, says Nick P. Maybe Rudiger wasn't quite fully fit. John Stones bringing it forward. He can't stand off because they've got players who'll shoot. Who do you think will win the NHL Stanley Cup? I don't even know who's in it, Vin. I tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a goal for City from the edge of the box. A long shot. Oh, Haaland from Grealish's cross. That should have been 1-0 as well. I tell you what, Real Madrid need to bloody get their act together because at the moment, there's just pure inevitability that they're going to score. I don't know. I expected that to hit the back of the net. It was a lovely cross by Grealish. He's got his hands in his hair. His Keira Knightley hair. And I don't know what Haaland did, but they've got another chance to put a cross in here with Grealish. He's going to do it again. He's going to shoot. And let's have a look. Let's have a look what happened here. Cross comes in from Grealish. It's a good cross. Alaba can't get there. Haaland. Oh, it's a great... Wow, Courtois has done his job here because Haaland's got it on target. He could probably head it better. But Courtois has made the save. If I was a Madrid fan, I'd be thoroughly embarrassed playing no better than Southampton, says Treble Champ. It's not been a great start from Real Madrid, but it wasn't that good in Spain either. But they're just losing the ball all the time. Same thing happened in Spain. 2 choices, Mark. Man City to win and we get the full sale with the Qataris, or Real win and we will get Sir Jim and Glazers stay for the next 3 years. I'm not answering stupid questions like that, Slow Sports News. You know I respect you, but it's got no correlation in real life. You know, it doesn't mean anything. So I'm not going to pick it. I'm not in that mood. Here's Haaland. Good tackle. Man City are winning every second ball here at the moment. Every second ball. They are dominating. Young, you are right. They are absolutely dominating Manchester City here. Real Madrid here. It's another corner. I just don't know what the plan is for Real Madrid if Man City manage to get the early goal. They've got to try and ride this out. Grealish with the cross. Courtois punches it away. They pick it up. Who would have thought Stones would be this good, says Dan Kelly. Grealish into the box. He'll tumble. You've got to be careful with Grealish. And another, see, look at that. This is... Madrid are bloody terrible. Every pass they play is going to a Man City player. They're all over them. They need a bloody drugs test, these Man City players. How have they got this amount of energy? Crazy Real let Casemiro go. Would start for Real, says Paul. Where have they got this energy from in the middle of bloody May after this season? Madrid look dead. Man City look like it's the opening game of the season. They're absolutely pumped. Possession's crazy. Intensity's crazy. The amount of second balls they're winning is crazy. There's a skill gap here. Doesn't look good at the moment. It's the hunger, says Dawal. It's domination at the moment. But it was the same for the first 20 minutes in Spain. Obviously, this is not Spain. City are okay. Performance enhancing drugs, says Malps. Well, yeah, we don't know that. In fact, they're probably not on that, are they? De Bruyne with another cross. It's only going to be a matter of time if you give them this sort of quality ball. It's just Man City again. Here they come again. Relentless. Relentless. Well, it's all right saying Real Madrid are set up to counter. They're like a corpse. Chasing shadows. Fan from Hong Kong. Hope Real wins, says Bull. Look, stranger things have happened, but here's Gundogan. That's a bad cross. I'll tell you what, I bet Real Madrid like it when it's a goal kick. Just slow the game down a bit. Chris says Madrid always start slow, but they're starting slow, and there's Man City should be 1-0 up. Are you drinking wine, says Ven? Not tonight. Adrian says Man City, Real Madrid are like this all the time for the first 20 minutes. So much space out there. Another free kick for Man City. Dalton says, what are your thoughts on Madrid benching Rudiger? Well, it's all right. It's been all right so far with Militao, but I don't understand why you would do it, because I think Rudiger's a shithouse and he was getting into Haaland's head, whereas Haaland here looks absolutely pumped. I don't know why you would drop a player that played so well against Haaland last week. I don't know the full details of why that's happened. Interesting, Madrid have never won at the Etihad, says okay. Those possession stats are crazy. 83% at the moment. That's from Joshua Bowwater. So here's a free kick for De Bruyne to whip in. Plenty of aerial threats. He's shot. He went for a shot from distance against Courtois. Tell you what, I think he would have beat him if it was on. It had gone in, had it on target. Gark says a goal is inevitable. I tell you what, every pass, there's just no confidence in any Real Madrid pass. Every pass just looks like it's going to end up to a blue shirt. I mean, even Modric there, losing possession and giving a throw-in away. There's no pass for him at all. We're cooked in the FA Cup if they play like this, says Eric. That Sainsbury soup you like has been discontinued, says Jack. Unbelievable. I knew it. I bloody knew it. Is that official? Where's that coming from? Get in the bin. Absolute joke. I can't believe we've had 20 minutes, though. One thing I would say, the game has gone very quick. Madrid need to wake up, says Nathan. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. I think we're about 20 away from 955,000. So please subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with That's Football. You're all very welcome. Everybody's welcome here. Even City fans. Do you think Madrid will feel more comfortable in penalties the way this game is looking? Oh, they ain't going to get anywhere near penalties, mate. There's no way Man City aren't going to score. Remember Bo Selectamar. Love it if Benzema went oosh if he scores, says Robbo. Thoughts on the FA Cup final? Too far away, mate. Not thinking about that. Even from a United point of view, we've got to get top four first. The FA Cup final will be massive. you know, we've got our part to play in stopping Man City winning a treble, but you know, we've got to, you know, you've got to take it every game at a time. FA Cup final is before the Champions League final, Christian. The Champions League final is on the 10th of June. The FA Cup final is on the 3rd of June. De Bruyne goes short into Bernardo Silva. Back to De Bruyne. He's got a better angle on this. Akanji, Haaland. What a save. What a save by Courtois. You won't see a better save than that all season. He's heading it into the far corner. Courtois is going the wrong way. The power off his feet and his hand. Oh, that save is delightful. And he only just gets it. That's two really important saves from Courtois. But it's a world-class save. Absolutely world-class save, that. Unbelievable. You won't see a better save. Unless there is a better save. It's going the wrong way when Haaland... oh, it's brilliant. And the way he only just gets it round the post. Unbelievable. What a save. What a save. He could save a Word document. Unbelievable. Incredible save, says Mike Loves Football. This is what I mean. This is not a game plan from Real Madrid. This is like... they're just hanging on. That should have been a goal. Haaland will have thought he'd scored there. So it's the way that... I don't think Real Madrid have been in the Man City penalty box yet. One thing's for sure. If Man City don't win this tie... they'll look back at the first 20 minutes here and the first 20 minutes in the Bernabeu and they'll go, you know, we've had the game. Grealish into Rodri. Out to Bernardo Silva. Runners everywhere. John Stones. This is going to be 1-0. Bernardo Silva. It's been coming. It's been coming. Hi, Mark. Did you check Sainsbury's for the soups? Is Finley? No. And do yeah, I mean, look, it's just, this is going to... I think they could batter them. I really do think they could batter them. There's nothing to say. They've absolutely wiped their arse with Real Madrid here. This first 23 minutes... doesn't matter whether... it could be Real Madrid, it could be Southampton. They've absolutely battered them. Vinicius Junior's talking to Ancelotti. You may as well sit down with Ancelotti. He's not in the game. Who's picking up the runner here? Why is Bernardo Silva not marked? It's terrible. They're all over the place. And as much as I don't want them to win, I can't not acknowledge that. Look at that. Look at that. It's annihilation. It's absolute annihilation. You can only give praise to Manchester City, but Real Madrid, what plan did you have? Cathal's off to bed. Pep's loving it. He probably knows what's happening. They just cannot get the ball. United should try and sign in Courtois. What are we thinking? 20 million max, says Zach. Should have started Rudiger. Well, whether he started Rudiger or not, Rudiger, it wasn't anything to do with Militao, that. I mean, I don't know what Camavinga's doing. Maybe that's what happens when you play a midfielder at left back. Would you take Courtois at United if it was a swap deal with De Gea? Well, of course I would, Man United Hodge. He's the best goalkeeper in the world, isn't he? Is there a way back for Madrid? There's always a way back for Madrid, but they've got to start playing here. I can't believe we've had 25 minutes and we're looking at that. It's It's incredible. I can't believe the intensity of Man City. I don't know where this energy's come from. Are they going to burn out? You know, you can get a team that comes out and starts fast. It doesn't feel like it's going to stop. They look absolutely relentless at the moment. Right, here's first chance to get the ball in their own half, in the opposition half, and they lose it. Modric. Even a world-class player like Modric looks like a bag of shit so far. The Man City team will be remembered as one of the most dominant teams in history, says Drill. I don't know. I don't know about that. Let's see what they win first. Bernardo Silva. I just can't. It's, you know what? I can't believe Haaland's just had a shot. I can't believe just how dominant Man City are. I can't believe it. And I don't know why it won't move off the stats screen. Has it moved off stats yet? It just seems to be stuck on stats. See if it'll move. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right hand corner, we're very close to 955,000. Get involved with That's Football. We're doing Brighton's trip to Newcastle tomorrow night. That's going to be a massive game as well, but this is not living up to the tie at all. I mean, this is just one-way traffic. Moose says Bernardo. It's been men against boys. It has. Yeah, sometimes you just got to acknowledge it, haven't you? I thought Man City would win. Real Madrid fans will be fuming. The way Pepper set City up today is brilliant. Suffocating football. It's been brilliant to watch, says Alec. City are ruining my dinner, says Tumbleweed, who is eating a curry. Are you going to switch off, says Stevie? No, I'm not going to switch off because I just think that that's immature in a game like this. It's a Champions League semi-final. And, you know, to be honest, even though I don't like City, they have played some fantastic football. Is there a way back for Real Madrid? No. I mean, Jack Grealish is running through them like he's bloody Maradona here. Barca 2011 or this Man City domination-wise, says Don. I think Barcelona had more of a feel of domination about them because they actually won things. Man City have got to win things first. If they win the treble, it sickens me. This team will be forever be linked to Man United's team, says Hannibal. If they win the treble, put an asterisk beside it. The cheaters, says Brian. I think if they win the treble, they won't get done for cheating because it will just, football's very political, isn't it? I'm not saying they have cheated. I'm just saying if they win a treble, do you think it's in UEFA's interest to have a team found out that they've cheated? I wouldn't trust that anything will ever happen if they win the treble, to be honest. And I don't know whether anything has happened. I just want to say, will Madrid sack Ancelotti if they get battered? Says Zach. And let's be balanced here. I know that Leeds and Leicester and I presume Forest have all wanted the charges against Everton to be rushed through so that they get a points ban now. That makes me think that now the FA have said they're not going to run it through, that Everton may never get found guilty as well, because it will be an embarrassment for the Premier League if Everton do end up getting these charges, and they could have done it quicker and it could have kept people in the Premier League. Sometimes I think these things are best swept away, aren't they? Because it doesn't do the leagues any favours. I can't see any team realistically competing with Man City in the Prem for a while. They've got too much quality and depth, says Liam. I don't like saying it. Well, I don't mind saying it, but I'm not saying it because of Abu Dhabi. But they're a well-oiled machine. Like, he just keeps adding icing to the cake. And the cake is already perfect. That's the thing, isn't it? They're What's Alaba doing here? This could be... Oh, Militao's done well there. Let's not forget Man City rested half their team against Everton, says Nimish. With Vinny Jr. will score a goal on the counter. That's the thing with Madrid. Counter can happen in seconds, says Kevin. Yeah, but what would the score be when they do counter? There it is, look. Unbelievable. Have you ever seen a Champions League semi-final like that after half an hour? Barca summer transfer targets are really interesting. What do you think about them and the Neymar rumours, says Venelin. I don't understand. I don't understand where Barcelona get their money from, mate. And I don't actually want to. Right, here's Cruz. It's not... They're past the halfway line. That's a start. Modric. Would you say Bayern tested City the most, says Cisco? I actually thought Bayern against Man City was a close game. The problem was Upamecano and the lack of a striker for Bayern. I think if Bayern had had a striker and not Upamecano, it could have been a different story. Now here's Vinny Jr. Kyle Walker's pace there is incredible. That's what he's there for. Vinny would have been in one-on-one with the keeper. Any other right back there. Not sure how we can beat them at the moment, Mark. Just hope it's not a drumming, says Jonathan. Here's De Bruyne. I think I can feel a Man City second goal before half time. There's a tweet here from Ben Jacobs, who's been on the United sale a little bit. He says, I understand all 6 Glazers remain determined sellers. Qatar's latest offer is currently being assessed. Rain Group is still controlling next steps, even though 9-2 Foundation held direct talks with the Glazers. Rain's still firmly part of the major conversations. So Jim offer remains flexible. Much has been made of the option to retain control with the Glazers. But Ineos are also quite prepared to buy all 69% of their shares as well. Ratcliffe is simply after control and prepared to get it in a variety of ways. The strategic partners and minority investors are to an extent waiting in the wings. They were not bound by the April 28th deadline, but it's clear the priority is to proceed or rule out a sale or change of control first. It's just noise, isn't it? Just noise. It's basically an update that doesn't give an update, isn't it? The Glazers want to sell, but they might want to give it to Sir Jim, and there's other people waiting in the wings. I mean, we're back where we were in bloody January. I just can't be arsed. Tony Cruz brings it out from the back. Needs some support. How can he go past 4 Man City players and have to go back? F1 fan says, if Madrid were an emoji today, they'd be shit. I suppose their only hope is, can Man City keep up that intensity that they showed in the first half an hour? It would be superhuman to do it. But Real Madrid have won a corner here. That's the only hope. Can Man City keep up that intensity for longer than half an hour? Because if they do, they'll get the second goal. Of course, a Real Madrid goal could damage Man City psychologically, but they've got to get in the box to do it. Kay, thank you very much for being a member. Thank you. Thanks for all the super chats, by the way. You can do that through the $sign, but please do subscribe. Header. Oh, it's going to come to Vinny on the far side, but he's a long way from goal on that touchline. It's a good reverse pass into Benzema. Back into Cruz. He's going to hit it. Oh, he's just hit the... Wow, what a shot. He's hit the bar. What a shot by Cruz. You need those to go in. You do need those to go in. It's a hell of a hit. I thought it was too high. I thought it was going to be too high. And in a way it was. But look at that. Thuds the bar. Wow. What a hit. Crossbar challenge from about 30 yards. Bang. He's hit the Denver. Football ends in 90 minutes. Madrid could score if City use all their steam now. So Star Wars is good. Well, it looks like Man City are going through a phase of recuperation here. They definitely put a lot of effort into that first 30 minutes. It feels like Madrid are coming back into it, but then here's John Stones piling forward. It's a terrible pass, but it might have gone for a corner. Or is it? Or is it just a bad pass? I think it's gone for a goal kick, actually. Football is a 90-minute game, says Cults. No Sainsbury's soup, City treble. What's going on, says Finley. I can't believe that about that soup. What was it? What was it called? Sainsbury's cauliflower masala soup. Here we go. You can still get it. Masala spice cauliflower soup. You can still get it. It's on offer. Gundogan. Bernardo Silva. What? Who's that idiot on the line? Who's that idiot on the line? Alaba. He thinks he's watching a plane going over. What's he doing? Wow, I think this might be over. I'm not ending the stream, but I think it might be over. What the bloody hell is David Alaba doing on the line there? They ain't coming. They're going to bloody... I tell you what. They're going to... Ancelotti sat there. I don't like Bernardo Silva. He's a good player, but I think he's a little shithouse, to be honest. There's just something unlikable about him, isn't there? If you're a Man United fan. Lovely ball by Grealish. Gundogan got the shot off. To be fair, I think Alaba's just caught out, isn't he? Yeah, it looks like David Alaba should get it, but to be honest, he's ain't never saving that unless he uses his hand, which he can't do. 2-0 Man City. I did say I fancied City to get another one before half-time. You know what, though? The context of this, save us into your only hopes as the HP. I can't see Inter Milan. I can't see Inter Milan doing it. I really can't. Real Madrid have had a bad season in La Liga. They really have. Save it. I've done that one from the HPN. Of course, the problem for Real Madrid is now they've got to try and score, which leaves them very open. I've just put £100 on Madrid going through. Mark my words, says Mr. Lannock. I would love you to be right, but there's no logical reason that will happen. It's been. Look, I must have used the word domination more times than a BDSM party, but it has been dominating from Real Madrid, from Manchester City. Last year, Real came back from 2 goals disadvantage. Maybe they can do it again, says Jonas. And I can't watch this. I'm putting on Harry Potter. Darmian versus Grealish, yikes, says Zach. I look in the context of the treble, Man United are the only realistic stopper, really. As Omka says, it's up to us and only us to stop the record. Well, it's poetic in a way. I mean, if Man City win the treble, they're going to deserve it, aren't they? Nobody can say they don't deserve it. Look what they're doing to the Champions League holders. Look what they've done. Arsenal have pushed them to a certain extent. And then to win the treble, you've got to beat the team that holds the treble. In name. I hope there is a Real Madrid comeback, but they haven't even started yet. It's up to Man United and Inter, says Finn. I wish Napoli had been able to run a course, you know, because I think Napoli just ran out of steam as well. Arsenal was always doomed because this is the best team in the world, says Alexander B. Well, yeah, you might be right. Mark, I'm worried. Only we can possibly stop City's treble, and I don't see us doing so. Can't believe our owners allowed this to happen. Sickening, says JT. Goldie, anything funny to brighten up our day, says David. Not really. Sunshine Gary Neville, that person who bet 100 has a gambling problem, says I'm all in. Thing is, I wouldn't say it's been easy for Man City because they put a lot of hard work in, but they probably would have expected. I mean, am I right to say that Brighton would have given Man City a better game here? I mean, I know Man City have been brilliant and I don't want to come across as disrespectful, but I feel that Real Madrid have been so bad, Brighton would be playing them off the park. It just feels like Real Madrid just look like a team that's past its sell-by date. They look so disjointed. I don't... Look, neither goal is because of Rudiger not playing, but I don't understand why Rudiger didn't play. Man City have been incredible, but Real Madrid have been really bad. Like, their passing's been bad. Their movement's been bad. Their shape's been bad. Their front three have barely touched the ball. Like, Toney got 262 charges against him, says Damien. Salaf says he's watching Middlesbrough. This game's finished. I just can't believe how easily Man City have passed the ball around. And how badly. I mean, look, Real Madrid there, they've got the ball back and they've lost it. And they've lost it again. Like, I know Man City are playing really well, but Real Madrid's retention of the ball is like, it's like a team of Lukaku's. Trampoline toes. They can't control the ball. Here's De Bruyne. The fact they are treating Madrid like a Sunday League team is honestly terrifying for the future. I'm calling a quadruple next season, says Jack. No, I think Man City have been incredible, but I also think Real Madrid have been absolute horseshit. I think any Madrid fan would agree. They've had opportunities to keep the ball. They've had opportunities to tackle. They're just not... They're not in it. It's like they're scared, says Stu. See, that's Tony Kroos there. I've seen Modric do this. He's got no pressure on him and he passes it straight to Rodri. That's, you know, Man City are going to hurt you, but there's been countless examples of no pressure and a bad pass. I know people don't like City, but why sympathise with Real? They've always been bloody arrogant, says Kenneth. Well, they've been crappier. Let's not forget, Courtois has made 2 big saves from Haaland as well. This could be 4-0 at half-time. And what's Camavinga doing here? What the fuck is he doing? Grealish has gone too wide. I mean, it's only... He's still got it. What's Camavinga doing there? On the edge of his own box, trying to take people on, and Man City should have scored another one. Here's De Bruyne. Cross is good. Courtois does well. Comes back to Gundogan. Lays it off. Haaland. They're queuing up. Akanji. Deflection. Corner. That's what Super Wealth offers you, and that's what it looks like when it's completely assembled. Sir Jim supporters, says Jap. And that's half time. Well, I've just put a tweet out there. I said, this is what Super Wealth gets you with obsession to be the best. Simple. They'll dominate forever if others don't follow suit. It's just been an incredible first half of football from Manchester City against the holders of the Champions League, who, to be honest with you, are absolutely lucky to only be 2-0 down. It's absolute domination. You know what? I half expect to see Pep come out with his whip in the second half, his dominatrix whip, because that's domination of Manchester City. And I think they'll come out with one of them strap things like the Gimp and a pink ball in the mouth, because it's been absolutely embarrassing. It's almost like they're enjoying being dominated, because they have been dominated. It's one of the worst performances I've ever seen from a team in a Champions League semi-final, coupled with one of the best performances I've seen. And that's what 2-0 doesn't do it justice. It really should be at least 4. Look at that. Look at that. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. 72% possession, 13 shots to 1, 5 on target to none, 5 corners to 1. Unbelievable. In fact, where do you think you're going? I've not finished. I want you to come back. I haven't finished yet. Let's have another look. 351 passes to 137, 90% pass accuracy to 72. It's just, look, I'm not taking anything away from Manchester City, because that is a fantastic team performance. They've won every second ball. They've moved the ball forward. The movement's been great. And I think Real Madrid have been dreadful. Look, watching people like Modric and Kroos unable to pass a ball. Watching someone like Valverde look like he belongs in a bloody Preston team. That midfield has been annihilated. Is it Real Madrid past their sell-by date? Maybe. That's probably why they're looking at the likes of Jude Bellingham. But I expected better. And Vinicius Jr. and Benzema and Rodrigo, what can they do? What can they do? They may as well have been given the night off. You always used to say winter is coming for Madrid and Barcelona. Is winter finally here? Says 1000V. Pep is treating Man City like an experiment to see what it looks like when the world's best players are all on one team, says KA. Would you rather only watch Man United games and no other football at all, or able to watch any game you want apart from United games, World Cup? Finley, I'm not answering these silly questions. Someone in the chat might want to. I don't get it. And also, it's not a choice. The only way to compete with this is Super Wealth. There is no other way, says Sander. Look, and I want to make it very clear to Man City fans here, and I'll probably get bloody clipped, but I want to make it very, very clear that for Man City in a Champions League semi-final in 2023 is an absolute fantasy in 2008. There's one reason you're doing this, and that's wealth, Super Wealth. And I've ridiculed it, and I've said it's a cheat code, and it is, but please give it to my club, and I'm sure there's a lot of other fans out there going, look, I don't like Super Wealth, I don't like how it's a cheat code, but if I want to be successful, and I want to see my team be successful, tell me how you compete with that and what we've just witnessed in 45 minutes. It is the way. It is the only way. There is no moral compass. Klopp's tried, and it falls apart. You might do it for 1 year. Arteta's tried, not been good enough. You want to compete with this Man City side, you've got to do what this Man City side has done. Super Wealth with the obsession to be the best, and they are absolutely obliterating everybody else because they've got what everybody else hasn't got at the moment. They've got years of doing it. This is not a scratch and sniff. This is a foundation build over a decade to get to this point. This is try and test and try, and they've took their time, and now those foundations are strong, and that's why they've won 3 Premier Leagues in a row, and that's why I'll predict they'll win it next year. Could they be the first team to do a double treble? Like, could they be the first team to do a quadruple? To deny it is idiocy. I just think that, you know what? It's absolutely spot on. Newcastle have got it. It will take them. Newcastle can't compete with Man City. They're as rich, but they can't compete with them yet because they've got to build the foundations. Obviously, my club, Man United, are going through a sale process at the moment. We don't have any say in what happens, but the reason I want super wealth and a full sale and good glazers out is because I want to try and compete with that Man City side at some point in my life. We won't be competing with them for the next 4 or 5 years, even if we get super wealth. Neither will Newcastle. But if you don't start the process, you'll never beat the process. And I guarantee that Arsenal fans know this. Chelsea fans know this. Liverpool fans know this. Jurgen Klopp knows it. Ten Hag's hinted at it. It might be a dirty word, but you know what? I've said this before. It's like doing an exam and saying, Miss, or Mister, or whatever they want to be called. They've got the cheat code. They've got the cheat. They've got the answers. They've got the answers. And it's like the teacher saying, I know. It's in the rules that they can. Why don't you get the answers as well? Ooh, morally, it doesn't sit right with me. I'm just going to study and try my best. But you won't get everything right, and they will. I know. But in my mind, at least I know my morals are okay. Well, you're an idiot. There's the cheat. There's the answers. Get the answers. For a tenner, you can have the answers. You've got to take the answers. You've got to take it. And I've spent a lot of time taking the piss out of Man City, and I don't like it. And somebody just called me a sellout. DJ, you're actually right. You're actually right. Everybody who wants their club to be run like Man City and Newcastle is a sellout. But are they also not a realist? Because, my kids support Man United. Most of us who support Man United or Liverpool or Chelsea would hope that we've got another few years supporting our club before we leave this place. Do you want to just sit back and go, you may as well walk away from football, actually. It's not being a sellout. You may as well walk away from football. If you don't want your club to compete with Manchester City, then you don't want super wealth. Then you may as well just get your DVDs out and UK Gold and watch when your team was good, because it ain't going to be good. You can't compete with it. So, it's just the way football is. This is why the Super League was mentioned. It's unhealthy because it means that teams like Brighton and Brentford and Fulham and maybe the Evertons of this world, if Man United gets super wealth, Man City have got it, Newcastle have got it, a couple of others get it, how do they compete? But it's just what football is. The byproduct of it is you get this. It's a pretty good team playing pretty good football with a pretty good manager. It's the world we live in. The only positive here is that we have it in our hands to stop City from doing the treble, says Alias. It's a properly run club. Rest of us have had a rough 10 years in one way or another. Bad transfers, etc., says Gav. Bar Grealish, City don't spend 50 million per player. It's about recruitment of players and staff, not super wealth. Man United spend most out of English teams, says Moose. You're just wrong, Moose. That's your second rubbish chat of the night. How's it not about super wealth? They went from being a club that was flirting with relegation and played in League One to a club that's now on the verge of a treble in the space of, 15 years? How's it not about super wealth, mate? You just own what you are. Like, most Man United fans want this now. Most other clubs want it. Why do you have to pretend you're not what you are? Like, we're agreeing that this is the way football's going and you're ahead of the game. Don't pretend you've done it on a budget. Camavinga seems terrible at defending, says Nemo. Well, they've all been bad today. What about when everyone was saying that this Man City team was worse with Haaland compared to last year's team? Would you walk that back, says Anthony? No. I think that's a great football point. I'll come back to that. Mark, Man United will be extra super wealthy compared to City and Newcastle. They're coming from a better initial stage, says Andrew Grange. Mark, you need to give me credit for giving you that teacher cheating exam analogy since that morning show. Love the content. Keep it up, says Ashan. If you gave it me, Ashan, you can have the shout out. Thank you very much. I go back to that because I've said it, and I don't pretend that I don't say things. I did say that I felt that Man City were a worse team this year than last year with Erling Haaland in it. And, you know, ultimately, I am going to get proved wrong if they win the treble. But there was an element of truth to that, because at that time, I'd seen Man United beat them, and I'd seen Spurs beat them, and I'd watched Man City a lot. And it was getting to the point where if you shut Haaland down, Man City had a problem. I mean, look, this Man City team drew against Forest. They've lost at home to Brentford. What people cannot refuse is that Man City have gone through a transition. And there was a vulnerability about Man City until about February. They were a little bit vulnerable. It seems ridiculous now, because now they're better than any Man City side there's ever been, really. But up until about February, they were adjusting to Haaland. And if you shut Haaland down, they really didn't have anything else. But what you're seeing now is Bernardo Silva scoring 2, Gundogan at the weekend. You know, that transition is over. You know, this is Man City now. I think from August to February, they were still working it all out. And there were some vulnerabilities. But since February, and, you know, to be honest, since the Chargers came out, which seems to have just given them this siege mentality, they've been pretty much unstoppable. I mean, how many games in a row have they won in the Premier League? 11? They're destroying the Champions League holders. You know, they're resting half their team and battering a team at home that's fighting relegation. They're on a different planet. They're not going through transition anymore, and they're a much better team than they were last season. But I think there were, people try and rewrite history. You know, I've watched the game. I've played the game. I've watched Man City this season, and there has at times been transition and therefore vulnerability. But since February, it's completely disappeared. And they're not totally reliant on Haaland now. Haaland's still scoring the goals, but they're not totally reliant on him. Other people are scoring the goals. I mean, look, in fairness, well, it's not fair to say it, but you could argue that in a way, Real Madrid have shut Haaland down. But Bernardo Silva scored 2 goals. So they're getting goals from elsewhere. I don't actually think they've shut Haaland down either. I think Haaland should have 2 goals, but a goalkeeper's made 2 great saves. Sam says that super wealth isn't just about spending a lot on transfers. It's about spending large on infrastructure, facilities, recruitment and training, which is something Man City have done very well. You're spot on. If City play at their peak, can any team in the world beat them, says Avash. My dad said this reminds him of somewhat of a Liverpool versus Barca in terms of domination, says Funky. Yeah, look, and Mark, I'm a United fan. Although I agree with you about City having mega wealth, United's downfall is more mismanagement. Yeah, 100% Nihal. Glazers have been a shit house ownership. What's the point in Leicester winning the Premier League when big teams can just buy their players and weaken them? If you don't put money in, you're always going to be small, says Grealish. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Can anybody stop Man City? I think the only team in the last 2 months that I've seen lay a glove on Man City got beat how many over 2 legs? I thought Bayern Munich are the best team I've seen play Man City. They had more of the possession. They played very intelligently. But unfortunately for them, they didn't have a goal scorer. And they had a Pratt at centre-back. And they got punished for it. But I actually thought Bayern Munich gave Man City a really good game. Nobody else has in the last 2 months. I am looking forward to Brighton playing them next week, but Man City may well have the title won by then, so it might not massively matter to them. But I think you can beat Man City, but they're the best team in the world at the moment. So, and they've got momentum. Look, some of you might not be old enough, some of you might not be Man United fans, but I was old enough to watch the United treble winning side. And what worries me about Man City is that you can sense that they're getting that feeling, that momentum, you know, where you just feel like it's destiny and it's going to happen. And you can sense that in that team. Current City team is the child of super wealth combined with proper planning and execution, says Salim. Look, I wouldn't advise anybody goes and has a look at the Etihad, but if you look at the facilities next to it and what the infrastructure is, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible what they've done. And it is, you know, Man United used to be the blueprint before us. Liverpool used to be the blueprint. Man City are the blueprint now. And what's the thing about a blueprint? A blueprint, it plans to do it. If you want to be Man City, the blueprint is you need a lot of money. So therefore, you need super wealth. Hi Mark, I don't think we're going to win the FA Cup, says Prab. And Mark, like you, but can't you be this naive? Check next spend for yourself. The evidence is there. No, Z-Tac, I think you're exposing yourself as a complete and utter idiot, and I'll tell you why. Because you're just too literal. You need to dig down. You're going to live your life like, you know, not learning the truth. You're trying to say that Man United have spent more money than Manchester City over the last 10 years, and therefore super wealth isn't relevant. But you're completely flawed. Nobody's saying that Man United haven't wasted over £1 billion in the last 10 years. God, I know we have. But you're using an argument that doesn't make any sense. You're basically saying that super wealth is not the reason that Man City are successful. All right, take all your money away and would you still be here? No. You've spent your money well, which is what the previous person said. Not only have you had loads of money, you've also had the ownership and the infrastructure to be successful. So you can't just say, well, Man United spent money, so we're not successful because of super wealth. You've spent bloody loads of money, but you've done it in an intelligent way. You know, I never understand why certain City fans get arsey about the fact that, well, it's not about super wealth because you've spent loads of money as well. What's that got to do with anything? Have you spent loads of money? Yes. Have you spent it well? Yes. Why are you successful? Because you spent loads of money well. Well done. Tell me I'm wrong that you need super wealth to be successful then. Because you were never going to do it with Mika Richards and Richard Dunn. Madrid could still come back from this. They did it a couple of years ago, says Andrew. Well, we're up and running for the second half here. Don't forget to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We've got a cracking watch-along for you tomorrow night. It's Newcastle against Brighton in that top four race. Newcastle cannot afford to lose or drop points in that game with Liverpool coming hard behind them. That's going to be a massive game. This is a massive 45 minutes. I don't believe in Real Madrid. Simply, you can never write Real Madrid off. But that's one of the worst performances I've seen in a Champions League semi-final in my life. Can they even muster up anything? We'll have to wait and see. Frank Lampard could stop them, says Jerry. Can't have City winning the treble. Come on, Inter, says it's Crossbow. And all competing clubs should have the same transfer budget set by the Prem. It's supposed to be a competitive sport, but most clubs never compete, says the Bad Elf. No, I don't want that. I don't believe in that. I don't want a football club where everybody gets the same. Berry says you're full of it. Hypocrisy. It's fine. I don't understand what people's problem. I don't understand what you're talking about. You're trying to create an argument out of somebody that's actually complimenting what Man City have done. Well, my issue is the deniers, the people who are trying to say that nah, we haven't done it off super wealth. What are you talking about? Acknowledge it. It's very successful. It's what everybody else needs to do. The blueprint is Man City. Shitloads of money spent well by good infrastructure. Why are you offended by that? Why are you denying that that's the truth? We all know it's the truth. Look at Man United. Look at Chelsea. Loads of money spent badly. I think City winning the treble will be a good thing for us because some idiots who are supporting Sir Jim will come to their senses. Says Manoj. Yeah, but they're not going to be in charge. Plus, Super Wealth got Man City the best training centre and facilities. United training places falling apart, says Dazzo. And how can you not say United have spent less than Man City? I've spent over £1 billion. Liverpool can do it without the money. Don't know what you're talking about, Sam. Don't you love it when people put words into your mouth? How can you say Man United have spent less than Man City? Don't remember saying that in the last year, let alone in the last 10 minutes. And last time I checked, mate, Liverpool aren't doing anything. You're fighting for 4th place. So you're doing a great job at stopping Man City. Just like last year. Didn't win the league then either, did you? I'm not here to talk about Liverpool club politics, but if you think you're going to win the league again, or the Champions League again, with Jurgen Klopp and his magic wand, you're in for a surprise. Those days are gone. And Jurgen Klopp knows it as well. So, Mark, if you examine your virtual studio more closely, you'll notice that it exudes vibrant colours, says QWERTY. Thank you. There's De Bruyne. Militao barely wins the tackle. De Bruyne's shouting at Pep, I think. Of course it is, but not the full truth. We spent a lot, yet nothing. It's the management as well. The owners have taken the correct decisions. I don't know who you're talking about, Berry. What do you mean you've spent a lot, but nothing? Mate, what? Look, I don't want to get into this, but if you're trying to say that you're... I mean, look, there's a very dubious thing about Man City that we're all not talking about. Apparently they make more money than Real Madrid. How the fucking hell do they make more money than Real Madrid? They haven't got anywhere near the fans of Real Madrid. Apparently their revenue is more than more than Real Madrid. You know, that's why the charges are being looked at, mate. How the bloody hell are you earning more money than Real Madrid? So I don't want to go down that route because I think it's unfair to a Man City side that's played really well. But don't pretend that you're... You know, the way that you earn your money isn't under scrutiny. You can't sit there and say that you don't spend anything. What you're trying to say is that your revenue justifies your spend. Well, where did that come from? And this is not... I'm not here to have a Man City witch hunt. I know Man City fans who acknowledge the fact that you won the lottery the days that Abu Dhabi bought you. What we're talking about here is not some bitter swallowing of the pill that Man City are winning. You deserve to win. You deserve the treble if you do it. I hate to say it, but you do. What I'm saying is I can't believe I'm getting people coming in trying to deny that your success has been built on a blueprint of a lot of money. Which is why a lot of Man United fans would like the Qatar ownership, because they realise the only way to compete with you is to follow your lead. Good save from Edison from a David Alaba free kick. It's not that long ago that Tuchel's Chelsea beat City 3 times in a row. They could have won the treble there, Elias. They could have won the treble there. If other teams spent like City, they still wouldn't see similar results, says Josh. I disagree. And in a match like this, Madrid midfield should be Camavinga, Tchouaméni and Valverde. Kroos and Modric can't play. I think that's a fantastic comment, Luanda. I've been disappointed with Kroos and Modric tonight. But, you know, it's a bit like the boxer who takes a fight too much, isn't it? What's going on here? A drop ball. City has spent on a super team because of their wealth. It's not a dig, it's the truth. I know, Ray, I think City fans get quite offended by it, but if in 3 years' time United are winning things because they've got money from Qatar, I don't think we'll be doing the same. You've got a blueprint, it works really well, accept it, own it, it's the way football's going, and you are dominating football. Don't try and pretend that you've not spent money, because you have. Anyway, let's get back on the game. There's still 40 minutes to go here. And, you know, we've gone from talking about how you compete with a team like Man City to a conversation that nobody was actually having. Have we seen any improvement from Real Madrid? No. Some of their passing has been absolutely dreadful. Joey says, what's your thoughts on the Ivan Toney situation? I don't really have any thoughts on it because I don't know how many charges he's been charged with and I don't know what the charges are about. I know they're gambling charges, but, you know, your mind can run wild on those. So I don't really have anything to say. It's a significant ban, but it's probably a ban I expected, 8 months. But I don't know what it is he's done. So I'm not going to start. I don't like to make a judgment on something I'm not 100% sure about what it's to do with. Please do subscribe, by the way, bottom right hand corner. We were very close to, well, we're on the road to 1 million. Everybody's welcome on here. We will have the debates. That's what it's all about. Suarez, a United fan, shaking in their boots. Corner to Man City. One on the back post. Bernardo Silva goes for a shot. Wanted a free kick. Doesn't get it. But the pressure is good. And Vinicius Jr. is never going to beat Kyle Walker in a foot race. Realistically, mate, yes, money has been spent. However, the scouting department is the secret. City transfer players that suit them, and they do it well. Imagine City with Woodward CEO, says Radu. I feel like there's a bit of an echo going on here. Has anybody not said that Man City have spent money to be successful, and it's not just about buying players, it's the infrastructure, it's the whole package? Look, Todd Bowley's the prime example of you can't spend money and be successful. You've got to spend it well. You can't choose the players yourself and think you know what you're doing. If I was a billionaire buying a football club now, and remember, let's pretend Qatar have bought Man United, and I'm a multi-billionaire and I want to buy a Premier League club, so I buy Spurs. The last thing I'm going to do is go, I've got a great stadium, I've got loads of money, I'm going to make us the next Man City. I'm not going to start buying the players. I'm going to get the best coaches. I'm going to get the best scouting team. I'm going to get the best director of football. I'm going to get the best facilities. And that's how I'm going to do it. And that's what Man City have done. Look at the people who win the lottery and then they're in the daily, they're in the Sunday papers 10 years later because they've blown it all. Money in the wrong hands isn't success. Mark, as a United fan, says Sebastian, say what you want about Walker, but he's a beast. You wouldn't you like him at Man United? Mate, he's a very good player, but it's all about pace. And pace is a skill. So if he's a good player, but all I've ever said about Kyle Walker is you take his pace off him, I don't think he's all that special, but his pace is unbelievable. It just gets him out of trouble all the time. And of course it's a skill. It's probably on one of those, isn't it? Pace or something like that. You can't disrespect pace, but I think there's not a lot else to his game, if I'm being completely honest, that's better than any other right back. I can't believe that Ancelotti's not made any substitutes when your team has been dominated for 56 minutes and is basically looking like it's trying to keep the score down. There's just no hint of a comeback at the moment at all. Yeah, and let's not forget the first leg, as somebody in the chat just said there. Man City dominated them in Spain in the first half an hour. Real Madrid have never really, apart from that goal, which came out of nothing, they've never really looked... I mean, as I say, the best team that's played Man City in this tournament is Bayern Munich. And how many did they lose on aggregate? Do I think Inter Milan could do anything? I don't think even Inter Milan with Jose Mourinho could do anything. Let's face it, City fans yearn to feel like they have won something in a noble way. All their great play and domination isn't really enough deep down, says Nick P. Oh, I think to be fair, that's what I'm trying to say. I think that sort of approach has to not be the case. It's just what football is now. I think we've all been guilty of saying that about Man City over the years. But when United are for sale and the vast majority want Al Thani to buy us, it's exactly the same with what Man City's done. It's just the way football's going now. Middlesbrough or Coventry, Mark. I don't know what the score is. I mean, I do like Middlesbrough because of Carricky, but Coventry against Leicester for a place in the Premier League would be, well, whoever gets promoted, it's amazing. I have seen Middlesbrough play in the Premier League, so, but I'd like Carricky to do it. 0-0 between them and Coventry at the moment, 54 minutes, same as this. Middlesbrough have had the more of the game. Rodrigo. Salary cap would make Premier League elite. No reason not to, says AJ. I think it's fantasy. I mean, never say never. You know, we'll probably probably in the not too distant future, we'll see Premier League games being played outside of England. I do think we'll see that. You know, that's nothing to do with the Super League. Richard Scudamore, as the Premier League chief executive, mentioned that years ago. So I think we will see Premier League games being played outside. You know, maybe one a year to start off with, outside of England. So a salary cap, I'd never say never. I personally don't want that, which sounds counterproductive when you've got Man City doing what they're doing. But I don't want to see a salary cap, and I don't want to see everybody having the same money to spend. I mean, in competitive sport, is that not just the same as, you know, these things I hate at school sports days when everybody wins even though they don't? Carvajal nearly just played Gundogan in. Coventry have just scored. I've jinxed it. This is City brilliance, not Madrid being poor, says Ben. No, I think it is City brilliance, and I think Madrid have been shit as well. I think you can have both. They're not both mutually exclusive. Are you going to do a Champions League watch-along final, says Prague? I didn't think I would, but as That's Football is not a Manchester United channel, I feel that it's a bit cowardly not to do it. But it'll be hard to do it, especially if they beat us in the FA Cup final. I won't want to do it, but thing is, in the past, I've watched Liverpool play Champions League finals against Real Madrid, and it's Liverpool against Madrid, so you're hopeful that Madrid will win. Inter, I don't want to disrespect Inter Milan, but I just don't think they're. I think they're gonna have to pull off a miracle. You know, massive underdogs. They're fouling Jack Grealish too much. Well, you never know whether it is a foul with Jack Grealish. Look at how quickly Rodri's winning the ball back there. I've got to just say, I can't believe the intensity of Man City tonight. It's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just incredible after the season we've had that these players can play at that intensity. Like the ground covered by Rodri tonight must be unreal. Gundogan's just picked up a yellow here. And I know people will say, well, he didn't play on Sunday, but he has played since the start of August, and he went to the World Cup. It's like, you know, everybody's had a hard season this year. To have that, I mean, Rudiger's coming on now. He should have started. Rudiger's coming on for Modric. Alaba must be dropping into the midfield. Winning treble used to be so difficult. It seems so easy for City with their resources. City will make the Champions League look like the Farmers League if nothing is done, says Sarvish. Oh, Camavinga's going to go into the midfield, I think. Although at the moment, he's nowhere near the midfield. Alaba's gone left back. Or has Rudiger gone left? I don't know what they're doing at the moment. Alaba should go to left back, says CG. Subs that make no sense, says Chris. Well, the Real Madrid bench ain't that good, is it? You know, I've always thought that about Madrid. If Benzema gets injured or Vinicius Jr. get injured, where do you go? You know, Man City, Haaland's a massive loss, but you could play Alvarez. Bernardo Silva's a loss, but you can play Mahrez. Jack Grealish is a loss, but you can play Foden. Real Madrid have got people like Eden Hazard, Asensio, you know, the NFL has a salary cap, and there are still bad teams as well as dominant teams. If the Premier League got a salary cap, it'd be the same as that, says Brennan. I didn't say it wouldn't. I said I don't want it. The Champions League final is on my birthday, and as a United fan, I can't stand the idea of them doing the treble on that, says Ross. Oh my God, Ross, that is unlucky. The thing is, if they win it, you can just turn it off. When Aguero scored that goal, I switched the TV off before he took his shirt off, and I didn't turn Sky Sports News on for 2 months. You can't turn off your DMs, says our mate. Well, depends if you read your DMs. I don't. Scary thing is, 65 minutes in, Man City haven't even had Real Madrid haven't even had a shot, have they? I don't think they have. The worst I've seen Modric play, says Alban. Yep, they've not been good. They've not been good. I just wanted to have a quick check. Have they had a shot? Apparently they have had a shot on. Oh, they had. Well, yeah, they hit the bar, didn't they? They hit the bar. FA Cup final prediction, says Sebastian. Well, Man City will be huge favourites. Of course they will. But it's a Manchester derby as well. You know, countless times over the years I've seen Liverpool play Everton, and Everton have beat Liverpool and nobody would predict it. So you've got to rely on that. As a City fan, I think people need to calm down. Over the next 2 or 3 years, De Bruyne, Pep and Haaland at least will all move on. Teams go through phases. We will drop off again, I'm sure, says Luke Jones. I think that's a good point, Luke. But you know what? The thing that Man City have done, and Chelsea, who also had money, is you have a plan in place for when that happens, you know? You go and get the next manager. And Man City have won titles without Pep, remember? Mark, my birthday, I've done that one. It'd be hard for Ten Hag, who's done such a good job at United in his first season, to have it overshadowed by a Man City treble. I mean, look, he's took a team that was shit into top 4, hopefully, in 2 cup finals, but it'll be completely overshadowed, won't it? There is no sense of urgency for Madrid. Can't remember seeing them ever be this bad, says Zhao. I don't watch La Liga, so I don't really know, but a few people have said to me that Real Madrid have not been that good this season anyway. Militao gets it wide to Carvajal. Of course, the other thing is that Man City's defence is very good. Benzema's just not got into this game. And De Bruyne has got loads of space. I'll tell you what, if Haaland wanted that, he could have scored there. I'm Ronnie Pickering, says Prajit. Thanks everyone who's tuned in, by the way. Please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Don't forget, tomorrow night, we're back with the Premier League. Probably one of the games, I was looking forward to this one. Real Madrid have been disappointing and Man City have been fantastic. But tomorrow night, the top 4 race. Brighton go to Newcastle. Newcastle do need 6 points from their last 3 games. And they've got to go to Chelsea last game. So that Brighton game's huge. And the way Brighton are playing at the moment, they're going for European football as well. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Very, very accomplished by Man City. And you feel that they'll get the 3rd goal before Real Madrid score. It's Grealish. He's had a good game. It's a good cutback. No one's there. Just again, City just picking up the second ball all the time. Bernardo Silva. Seems a long time ago since he's got his 2. I would be gutted if City win the treble and we end up with Jim, says Sebastian. And Benzema seems totally checked out of this game. They need to switch him on, says Baron. I never liked City, but I have to be honest, I am a Dutch PSV fan, but I like Pep, Haaland, De Bruyne and Ake. So they win the Champions League, I'll be happy, says Jonas. I hope you're not a Man United fan, because that doesn't make sense. Luke says, you're right, mate. We did win before Pep, but not at such a consistent level. We'll fall away for a season or 2 and others will step up, says Luke. And do you watch Ted Lasso? Although it's a bit silly at times, I really enjoy it, says Hunter. I've never watched it, mate. I think with Real Madrid, I mean, look, we spent a lot of time talking about Man City. Real Madrid's Champions League record is amazing. We've seen Tony Kroos and Modric come off in the last 10 minutes. I think what you've got here is a passing of the guard. It sometimes happens in football. Real Madrid's record over the Champions League has been incredible over the last 10 years. In no way am I saying that Man City are going to take that mantle on. They've never won the Champions League. They've still got to win this first one. I think they will. But this Real Madrid team needs to, change. It's. I will always say last year's Champions League run to the final and winning of the final by Real Madrid was unexpected and remarkable, incredible. But the reason it was remarkable and incredible was because I didn't expect it. I don't think anybody did. I don't think anybody thought that Real Madrid side was capable of doing that, and it did. Which leads it to this point that it's too old, isn't it? It needs renovation. Be interesting to see what Real Madrid do in the summer, actually, because there's talk that Ancelotti could go. When I think it's logical that this team needs a rebuild. Ted Lasso says Ted Lasso is a very expensive corporate HR series, says Bryce. 1 goal by Madrid and a whole different game, says Brian. Yeah, but the thing is. Oh, Jonas is a PSV neutral in England. Okay. The thing is, they've not looked like getting that 1 goal. 20 minutes, things can change, but, we've all watched a lot of football and you get the feel of a game. And sometimes a team's 2-0 up, but it's a 50-50 game. Sometimes a team's 2-0 up and they're sitting back and inviting the pressure. In this case, Man City are 2-0 up and they're still dominant. So I can't see it at the moment. And they've not tired. Mark, do you see Madrid comeback, says Harish? And do you watch the UFC, says Edward? I don't see a Madrid comeback, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. But as I say, I feel that Man City are still the dominant team. What do I think Madrid need to do? Well, I think you need a player like Jude Bellingham. You drop Jude Bellingham into a game like this, that midfield's more energetic. People are saying Kylian Mbappe. Does Mbappe make a big difference in this game? Benzema is considered to be one of the best strikers in the world. Vinicius Junior is one of the best wingers in the world. I think that Rodrigo's good. They've been defunct tonight. I think Real Madrid need to work on that midfield. So they've, Jude Bellingham makes a bit of sense, a lot of sense. I think you've got to get Camavinga involved in that midfield, Tchouaméni, Valverde, and suddenly you've got a midfield 4 that's, very exciting. But I think the Tony Kroos, Modric starters has got to stop. This would be a great goal if it happens. He's hit the bar. What a save by Courtois. I mean, that has been an individual battle in itself, and it would have been a fantastic goal. Gundogan takes the pass from Haaland, slips him through. It would have been one of the great goals of the Champions League this season. Back heel by Gundogan, lovely play by Haaland, and Courtois, by a country mile, is Real Madrid's man of the match. He single-handedly stopped. Great save again. He single-handedly stopped Erling Haaland getting a hat-trick. Like, 2 of his saves have been probably 2 of the best saves in the Champions League this year. So Haaland could have had a hat-trick. He's had 3 very scoreable chances. 2 of them have been saved world-class by Courtois. I don't think Haaland would have missed that on his left foot. Stu says Haaland's crap. I'd have scored that. I think on his left foot he'd have scored it. On his right foot he's probably not put it where he wanted to. I mean, what's happening there? He's under no pressure, Valverde, and he just heads it to a Man City player. The indiscipline. Man City have been brilliant, but nobody can tell me that Real Madrid haven't been terrible. Like, you sometimes can't get in the game because the team is pressing you well, but I'm not talking about that. Man City have pressed them well, and they have played really well. But there's been countless examples of Real Madrid players having the ball with no pressure and passing it to a Man City play. Only Eden Hazard's redemption arc can save Madrid. Bring him on, says Adrit. Have you seen how bad Eden Hazard is? Yeah, great point there. Madrid is jogging when Man City have got the ball, says Ben. This has happened in both games. Both games, the energy of Manchester City has been much higher than Real Madrid. I don't know what Camavinga was moaning about there. I mean, Grealish likes a tumble, but that was a foul. Tottenham have got Brentford on Saturday. Fucking hell. Tottenham are bloody lucky, aren't they? If Toney can't play in that game, I'd be fuming. I'd be fuming if I was... Goal. 15 minutes to go. Akanji, 3-0. Game over. It's been over for a while. It's been over for a while. Easy work. Easy work. Absolutely easy. Oh, I mean, technically, there might be an offside here because Rodri does interfere with play, but I don't think it will matter. Militao with the finish. Good finish by Militao. Ancelotti wants VAR. They're looking at it. Given 3-0. Snap says blatant offside. Well, it looked like Rodri was offside, but I don't understand the offside rule now. He's covering the vision of Akanji. He's covering the vision of... I don't know. Fuck it. I mean, it's not going to make any difference, is it? They've never had a shot. I've never had a bloody shot. Ronnie Pickering. One thing you can do is subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Don't forget watch along tomorrow night as well. I think it'll be a better game than this. Newcastle at home to Brighton will be a better game than this, a more equal game than this. S7 says you're so biased it's not even funny. I don't really understand the idiocy behind that. I mean, I run the United stand. I'm a Manchester United fan. I don't like Man City. Man City fans don't like Man United. Liverpool fans don't like Man United. I don't like Liverpool. I can respect a very good team, and they're a very good team, but it's not bias, mate. It's called rivalry, and long live rivalry in football because it's what makes it great. It takes it from a sport that you're interested into to a sport that you're passionate about. It's not bias. It's rivalry. Why is that a bad thing? It's great. Of course it hurts me watching Man City destroy the Champions League winners to go into a Champions League final. I think they'll win. To add to the league title, I think they'll win. And then there's this, head-to-head against Man United for an FA Cup final. I mean, look, I don't think we're going to be far off Pep Guardiola, probably just before he plays Man United, saying, I'm not really bothered about the treble because the FA Cup's not as valuable as the league and the Champions League. I can see him playing it down, even though deep down he'll want to win it. So I think we've got all those mind games to come. It's a dangerous thing because to Manchester United fans, that Champions League is... to Manchester United fans, the treble is absolutely our focus. It's massive to this football club. I don't know what it is to the players. You know, really, those Man United players at Wembley on June the 3rd should be playing the game of their lives and giving absolutely everything. But as we know with these United players, they can go to Anfield where they should be giving everything and playing with everything they've got, and they can get beat 7-0. I mean, it's worrying because you just don't know what United will turn up. Are you happy City are winning, says Ajit? I'm over the moon, yeah. I can't, yeah. As a Man United fan, I'm so pleased. Mark, do you think City will finally win the Champions League against Inter Milan? Because I feel they will outplay Milan. Greg, you should be a pundit. I mean, it's such a hot take that you think that Man City are going to outplay Inter in the final. Of course they're going to outplay Inter in the final. I think it could be over by half-time. All respect to Inter, but I think it could be over by half-time. Personally, I think it's over now, but, you know, Manchester City are the complete team. I mean, not only could they have scored 6 or 7 tonight, they've also defended really well as well. They've never looked like conceding. It's not, you know, all the credit goes to the goal scorers and the amount of attacks they've had, but the defence has been impregnable as well. Like, they've never looked in trouble at the back. Mark Robbins could get the mighty Coventry up, says Damon. What is the score? 1-0. 13 minutes to go. Bloody hell, that'd be an amazing result if that happens. 1-0, Middlesbrough 0, Coventry 0, Coventry 1. To get in the playoff final and play Luton Town. That Luton Town ground is incredible as well, isn't it? What's the capacity of the Luton Town ground, by the way? Heavy investment to the squad incoming from Real Madrid, says V. Wow. You know what? One thing I will say is it's been embarrassing for Real Madrid, but you know what Real Madrid will do. It's 11,000 at Luton Town. Real Madrid have been humiliated tonight. Their reaction, whether you like Perez or not, whether you like Real Madrid or not, the reaction from Real Madrid will be to remember this all through the summer and do something about making sure it doesn't happen. Why didn't you shoot first time, you prat? Good save by Edison. First real shot on goal in the box from Real Madrid. I think that's their first shot on goal in the box all night, and it's come in the 82nd minute. I think I'm going to watch the Coventry game, says KA. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. I'm not. I think they'll sack Ancelotti as well. Whether that's right or not, I think they will. What would hurt more for United? Liverpool 7-0 or a Man City treble? The Glazers staying in or bottling top 4 and letting Liverpool in, says Mr. Lannett. I don't really understand what you're talking about. I can't speak for the amount of stupid chats we've had tonight about hypotheticals that aren't real. Would you rather sleep with a bear or go to Tesco's and they haven't got your favourite cornflakes? De Bruyne's coming off. Mark, are you still here? I am still here tonight. Yeah, I've not been petulant tonight. No, you know what? You know why I left the Everton game on Sunday? Because I didn't really want... I wanted to watch the Arsenal game against Brighton. And I thought, oh, you know what? I'll watch Man City at Everton because there's a chance that Everton might do something special because they did something special against Brighton. So I thought I'll do a watch along for it. And then after half an hour, I realised Everton is shite and they're not going to do anything against Man City. So I turned it off. Went and did some keep-ups in the garden. But this is a Champions League semi-final. You can't just turn it off every time the team you don't want to win is winning. Hunter's Army says the egg prediction said Inter will win. I am doing an watch along tomorrow, Jay. The pirate says he'd sleep with a bear. Okay. Would you rather lobster claws or a rhino horn, says Connor. You see, it's all started now. Sam's just found out he's 2% Italian, so come on, Inter. How can you be 2% Italian? What did you do? Have a lasagna last night? How can you be 2% Italian? How do you even do that? I can understand how you can be 25% Italian or 12.5% Italian because you just go back, don't you? But 2% Italian. You'll be no percent Italian when you have that crap then. You got to laugh. Look, as I say, I completely hate Manchester City winning. I can't stand it, but, you know, for me, actually, I shouldn't even use the word hate because I don't hate anything, but I don't like Man City winning, but ultimately, I'm also at that stage in life where I realise that not everything goes your way. And also, consequence has results. Man United has been a badly run club for 18 years. That leaves the door open for anybody that's a well-run club to come in and be successful. Man City's been a well-run club for the last 15 years. So they've walked in and, you know, I don't like it, but there's no cheat code. Well, there is a cheat code. It's super well. I want it. But... you know, they're not winning a treble because of luck. They're winning it if they do it because they're the best team in the world. Oh, L1 says ancestry from a few hundred years ago. Mark, if not this year, the treble could happen anytime. I hate City, but they deserve it, says Akshat. Imagine winning the Premier League, the Champions League and the FA Cup with 100 plus charges on your head. There will and should be a giant asterisk next to every trophy, says Stuart. Only if they get found guilty, mate. And as I said in the first half, it's a bit like the Everton thing. If Everton get found guilty and they stay up, is it in the Premier League's interest to find them guilty? If Man City win a treble, is it in UEFA and the Premier League's interest to find them guilty when they've just done something that hardly anybody does? I mean, I don't know what the evidence is and I don't know what the chances are of them being found guilty, but the reality is they're innocent at the moment. And they may never get found guilty. Mark, we really let there be this team. Great infrastructure, great managers and a great ownership model. Now they're the standard and we need Althani, says Duma. Mark, would you say that Haaland scored a lot of goals but he's not a great finisher? The placement of his misses doesn't seem like the great striker, says AJ. He was on his right foot there. He's very left-footed. Dog says, Mark, I've been debating whether I want to move from being a Spurs fan to Man United fan after this season. What are your thoughts? Stick to the club you support, Dog. Paul Not Nice says, if Lukaku and Mkhitaryan score and shut down City, they will never be forgiven. No, they will be forgiven. Oh, sorry. Well, Mkhitaryan never did anything wrong, Paul. I think Inter are being overlooked. Hardest test for Man City from that side of the bracket. Not saying much, and it probably won't matter, but you never know, says Scott. It's just the way Man City can break a team down. They don't concede goals, and they dominate possession and just pass and move, pass and move, pass and move. It would take an amazing defensive display. Madrid with Casemiro, unstoppable. Without Casemiro, absolutely humiliated, says Tuna. Well, he was man of the match in the Champions League final, wasn't he? Casemiro. Well, we've got Casemiro for the FA Cup final. You know what will happen to United, though? Man City won't pick up one injury between now and the Champions League final. Man United, just before the FA Cup final, will lose Casemiro, Rashford and Bruno. You know, it's just that sort of a season, isn't it? Look at Man City pressing like this with 2 minutes to go. Credit to City, but why do they never get injured? Says Aim. Yeah, I don't know. I try not to watch a lot of Man City, if I'm being honest, but what do Man City get a lot of injuries? Makes you think, what's the point in announcing these charges if they never get followed up? Just the Premier League and UEFA flexing their muscles, but then backpedaling when they realise the negative PR it creates, says Robbo. Look, I don't want to talk about the Man City stuff because it comes across as really bitter, but I said it earlier. Everton have got charges against them. Leicester, Leeds, and probably Forest have asked the FA to speed it up, because if Everton get found guilty and it's points deduction, then they get relegated. The FA have apparently said no. Well, if I'm the FA, I'm like, well, if we find Everton guilty, we're going to get heavily scrutinised now, because we're going to relegate somebody that maybe shouldn't be relegated. Which makes you think, is it in the FA's interest to find Everton guilty in the first place? I don't know. It's conspiracy, isn't it? But, you know. Maybe on your Mark Goldbridge channel, you should do an ancestry DNA test and trace your roots. Danny Dyer learned he was a descendant of William the Conqueror. You might be 5% Scouse, says Jack. I might do that. That's a good idea. Do you think it would be a good video? Imagine if I was linked to someone like, I don't know, Boris Johnson. Doesn't work like that, does it? He's not that old. Like a real Pratt from history. Jack the Ripper, Daniel Roche. You're a bit of a prat. If it was related to Jack the Ripper, I'd also be solving one of the world's oldest crimes. Nobody bloody knows who he is. This will be 4. Easy work. 4-0 onside. Alvarez. He's only just come on. Foden slipped him in. Absolute domination here from Manchester City. 4-0. You know, you can respect it even if you don't like it. They've absolutely destroyed Real Madrid. And the scary thing is, this game's going to finish 4-0. I can think of another 4 goals they should have scored. So Real Madrid, if they want to take one positive from this, you could have been on the end of an absolute annihilation. I mean, 4-0 is that, but you think about the 2 wonder saves from Courtois from Haaland. You think about another couple of chances you'd expect them to have scored. Easily could have been 8-0. Have to be careful. You might be linked to Mussolini, Mark, on the Italian side, says Kevin. And yeah, there's a few people you wouldn't want to be linked to. Gary Glitter or something like that. But somebody just said Jimmy Savile. But I might look into that. I've never been interested. Holly says, I feel sick. I beg the Glazers will sell to Qatar. There might be a few people feeling like that tonight. Are Coventry still winning, Mark? They are, and they're into the 86th minute, which is bad news for Carricky. It's a big surprise, actually, because Sunderland got knocked out by Luton last night, and I thought Sunderland would go through with Ahmad. And then Carricky with Middlesbrough at the moment. I mean, the thing is about playoffs, you do get a lot of late goals, so I wouldn't write Middlesbrough off yet, but Coventry are getting very close to a playoff final between Coventry and Luton. Would they even sell Wembley out? I'm sure they will. Yeah, don't forget tomorrow night, massive game, Newcastle against Brighton. We're looking forward to that. This has been an absolute domination, though. Pep's there with his whip. Ancelotti's got the gimp mask on. It's been BDSM party and it's over. Absolutely dominated. Absolutely dominated. Zamzan says, I'm a big fan, Mark, but I love how you act like you don't care about City. I don't act like... Sam, I don't know what you're on about. I've not acted anything. I love the fact that you're doing a chat, trying to pretend that I'm acting like that. Stop the bias. What are you talking about? It's called rivalry, mate. Grow up or get a life. Can you do another driving with Goldbridge? I did one last week, as yet. Alvarez has the opportunity to win the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Champions League and the World Cup in one season. Wow, Daniel. Mark, watch the playoffs. It has way more action, says Naffel. Right, okay, look. It's been a difficult watch as a Man United fan, and it's a very difficult thing to say congratulations to Man City, and I never would say it, but they were dominant, and the best team won, and that's about as good as I'll get. They were very, very, very good tonight. I think Real Madrid are very, very lucky that they didn't get absolutely smashed. I'm going to do a little match reaction if I can. But don't forget, we were sponsored by Boohoo Man on the show tonight. You can get 40% off clothing like this with the code Goldbridge. Links in the description, or scan the QR code. Delivered to your door. Loads of stuff, whether it's gym wear, whatever. The gym wear stuff's actually really good. 40% off with the code Goldbridge. Thank you very much to Boohoo Man. Thanks everyone who watched tonight. And don't forget, we've got Newcastle against Brighton tomorrow, which is massive for the top 4 race. Manchester City will be in the Champions League final, and they will be huge favourites against Inter Milan. And they'll be huge favourites for winning a treble now. They are coming for Manchester United treble, and I ain't happy about that. Speak to you all in a bit. Thanks for watching.